meeting so that everyone is aware the meeting is being recorded. So I'm asking the participants to keep their microphones on mute until we get to the question and answer portion of the session. And at that point, feel free to unmute your microphone if you have a question. Otherwise, go ahead and keep it on mute. So let me just get this going here. Perfect. So this information session is going to be presented by Professor Rod Smith, the director of the MS Accountancy program, as well as myself. And we've talked about keeping your microphones on mute and letting you know that this session is being recorded. So I'll let Dr. Rod Smith take over from here.
Okay, welcome to our information session, Introduction to our Masters of Science in Accountancy program at Cal State Long Beach. So there's some wonderful accounting students. Go on to the next screen. Aha. So Cal State Long Beach, it's important that we're AACSB accredited. We're listed in a lot of lists of best schools. And all of that means your master's would be worth something when you got done. And we strongly believe that. Okay, for those of you that don't know a lot about our program, it's really designed to meet the 150-hour requirement for the CPA credential. Of course, we pride ourselves in the fact that the program also prepares our students for successful careers in public or private accounting. Okay, I was just reading the 2018 Global Salary Survey from the Institute of Management Accountants, done in conjunction with Robert Half and Associates. And they said that the average accountant in the United States makes probably between $150,000 to $160,000 a year. Okay, so they did note that accountants get about 20% higher salaries if they have advanced degrees, like our MS in accountancy. And they get about 15% higher salaries for the CPA, and of course the CMA certification, because the Institute of Management Accountants is the organization that provides the CMA certification. So they would be in there and concerned about it. But the important thing for us to think about is accountants make good money. It's an excellent career. It's a great long-term career, and it's pretty lucrative. So I think most of us, I backed into accounting as the way of getting here, but most people coming in from undergraduate degrees are interested in the long-term prospects. They also said in that salary survey that if you have a credential, the CPA, CGMA stands for Chartered Global Management Accountant, CMA is Certified Management Accountant, CIA, Certified Internal Auditor, or Certified Information Systems Auditor. If you have those credentials, those are important and they will pay off in the long run. Of importance is that accountancy, especially public accountancy, is getting more competitive all the time. In fact, in the 2018 salary survey, it said 53% of the accountants they surveyed out of 3,000 or 4,000 in their sample had advanced degrees. They also noted that 42% of CPA firm hires are coming out of master's programs now. So new CPAs coming into public accounting firms are very likely to have a master's degree. And if you don't, that in some cases can put you at a disadvantage. Okay, let's talk about our program a little bit. It is 30 hours. It is designed to be convenient, but a little bit demanding, I have to say that. 12 hours in the fall, 12 hours in the spring, and then 6 hours in the first summer session. That's if you start in the fall. If you start in the spring, it would be 12 hours in the spring, 6 hours in the first summer session. Then you would finish with 12 hours in the fall. Okay, we've designed it to be convenient. Classes are evenings and or Saturdays or both. I think this semester we have Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, but it changes depending on students' preferences and availability of rooms and instructors. Many of you know that Cal State Long Beach is convenient commuting distance, and we've got all of our application and documents are submitted online. So we make it as easy as possible for applicants, and we make it as easy as possible for our students to get a successful degree. Okay, we have two options. The typical standard master's application for students, so we'll spend some time talking about that. And then there's a blended 4+1 program for Cal State Long Beach accountancy undergraduates. And if you're one of those, probably need to talk to us online and we can give you more details on that. We're going to focus on the first option here.
Okay, so I'm going to jump in and talk about the standard application process. So this is the application process for students that are interested in the blended 4+1 option that is only open to Cal State undergraduate students. So in general, I'll just kind of briefly go over the requirements and then we'll jump into each of those more so in detail. So a requirement to apply is that you have a bachelor's degree from a regionally accredited university. We also require a GRE or a GMAT exam, except in some cases there is a waiver option and we'll talk more about that. We require that you submit a resume, a video statement of purpose, and 2 letters of recommendation. And I'll talk a little bit more about those requirements. The application process is all as online, as Dr. Smith explained. The application opened October 1st, so it's open now, and you can go ahead and log in and apply. So there are 4 quadrants or 4 different sections that are part of the application. I'm going to talk to you about all 4 sections. I'll let you know which sections you can skip to save you some time when you're filling in the application. I'll let you know which documents are 100% essential and required for us to make a decision on your application. The final thing is that you also have to submit transcripts. So you have to send in transcripts unless you graduated from Cal State Long Beach. You'll have to send in transcripts from whatever institution you completed your bachelor's degree at or institution where you've completed any prerequisites at. And you also have to send official test scores. So in the application, it'll ask you to list your test scores for the GMAT GRE, but you'll also have to send officials directly from the test administrator. So this is what, once you click on the Cal State Apply link, this is where it'll take you. So you have to select the term that you'd like to apply for, and you also have to select that you're applying as a graduate student, and then it'll take you to the application. This is what the 4 quadrants or the 4 different sections look like, and we're going to dive into the 4 different sections. The first section is personal information. That's pretty self-explanatory. You're just going to fill in things like your demographic information, your contact information. Make sure that you put the best email address there because that's one we're going to use to communicate with you. Make sure that you put the best mailing address there as well. The next section is academic history. Under colleges attended, you will want to list all of the colleges that you've attended. Under transcript entry, you can skip this section unless you're currently enrolled in classes. So if you've completed your bachelor's degree, you're not enrolled in classes, just skip that section. Otherwise, go ahead and fill that out. Under GPA entries, you're going to list your best guess for all of your GPAs from your undergraduate degree or any other coursework you've completed. We're going to go ahead and verify that as part of the application process, but you just go ahead and list your best guess. The last section for this second quadrant is standardized tests. So here's where you would list your GMAT or GRE test scores. If you haven't sat for the test yet, then you would just list the date that you plan to take the exam. So this is the third section, which is supporting information. And most of this section you can actually skip, so that'll save you some time. You can skip the experiences, the achievements, and the document section. You're going to submit documents, but those will be in another section, and we'll talk about that. But those 3 sections you can skip. Under statement of purpose, it won't let you go on unless you enter something. So just go ahead and enter that you will submit a video statement of purpose per the department requirements, and you that way it'll let you move forward. So just enter something about submitting your video statement of purpose and you'll be able to move forward. So now we are on to the 4th section, which is the program materials section, which is the most important section as far as getting everything that the department needs to make your admission decision. So in this, once you click on that, this is what that section looks like. You can see the home tab. Under documents, this is where you'll upload your resume. So this document section, do not skip. Go ahead and upload a current resume there. Under evaluations, you're going to give us the name and email of two recommenders. So you're not going to upload any letters of recommendation yourself. You're just going to give us the contact info of your recommenders, and we're going to contact them to request these letters of recommendation. And the last section here, the questions section, there's a couple questions about prerequisites, and that is also where the questions about the video statement of purpose are housed, and that's where you'll provide us the link to your video statement of purpose. Students typically will upload their video statement of purpose to YouTube and make it public, and then just provide the link in that section there. So for the letter of recommendation, I'm just going to give you a little bit more detail. So obviously your recommenders will be writing a letter of recommendation. They might ask, what should be on the letter of recommendation. So this is some of the information that we suggest that they include. Just a short history of how they know you, in what capacity, how long they've known you, how long you've worked together. Maybe give a few detailed examples of what characteristics you have that they believe will enable you to do well in a master's program. And then maybe some specific descriptions of contributions that you've brought either to the classroom or to the team, to the work environment. And then they should close with a strong statement of endorsing you for your candidacy to this master's program. So it's important that they actually say that they believe you would be a good candidate for this master's program. That would make a strong letter of recommendation. But it's up to the recommender. We don't have a specific template that they need to fill out. These are some of the things that we would suggest they include in their letter of recommendation. So the next section is the video statement of purpose section. So like we talked about, most students use YouTube to upload a video, and they just make it private and post the link as part of their application. You're going to be answering 3 questions as part of your video statement of purpose. They're listed here. They're listed on our website. They're listed on the application. And most students will answer these 3 questions in about 3.5 minutes. The max is 5 minutes. And it's up to you how creative you want to get with the video. You can sit in your office or in your room and just talk to the camera, or you can shoot in different locations. It's totally up to you. But these are the questions you'll be answering. So the last section that we want to talk about is that a GMAT or GRE test is required unless you've received a test waiver from us. So to receive this test waiver, you must meet certain criteria. You must have completed an undergraduate degree in business administration or accountancy from an AACSB accredited university within the last 3 years, and your GPA should be a 3.0 or above. So if you believe that you meet this criteria, what you would do is you would email me a copy of your resume and your unofficial transcripts to msa@csulb.edu, and then I would forward those to the director, Dr. Rod Smith, and he makes the ultimate decision as to whether or not you qualify for this GMAT GRE test waiver. Okay, so now we'll move on to the frequently asked questions before we open it up for audience questions. So one of the questions that we get a lot is whether or not the MSA can be completed part-time, or is it possible to complete it part-time? In this case, it isn't. So at the time, the program is a full-time cohort-based program, and you have to complete courses on that full-time basis. Classes are scheduled though in the evenings and or Saturday mornings, so that if you're working full-time 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, we try and accommodate so that the courses are work around that Monday through Friday 8 to 5 work schedule. Another question that we get often is the cost of the MSA program. So for a California resident, the cost is about $18,000 for the 1-year program. This includes your tuition. It doesn't include books or parking, so keep that in mind. For a non-California resident, the cost is approximately $30,000. Again, just tuition, not parking or books. The last question is about the CPA test prep. We do provide a CPA test prep for students, and it's also integrated into the curriculum. So that's basically all the frequently asked questions, and that's all that we have formally for you guys, but we are open for any questions that you might have if you want to unmute your microphones and ask any questions.
Good evening. My name is Ajay. I have a question I have a bachelor degree in finance, so I do have some accounting classes, and I'm still need to take like the intermediate accounting classes and cost accounting. Do I need to take those classes before I apply, or I could apply and get a decision and then I could take a later on, or you guys also have these classes after I get the admission?
So the way that it works, you can apply without having these courses. However, if admitted, your admission is contingent upon successful completion of these prerequisites before the start of the MSA program. So you have to get them before starting the program in the fall semester. For example, if you're applying for fall 2019, we do offer a summer academy where students can pick up some or all of the required courses needed before starting the program. The only thing we don't offer in the Summer Academy are the intro courses. So intro to financial accounting, intro to managerial accounting. As a finance major, you probably already have those courses, and then you would just need intermediate 1 and 2 auditing and taxation. Those are the 4 essential courses before starting the program.
And you guys do offer those 4 courses in the Summer Academy? And how
Yes.
much is the cost?
So it's depending on how many units you need, it's equivalent to the cost of the master's program. So if you need all 12 units, for example, it's probably going to be close to $7,000 for the semester.
Those courses are also available at community colleges in the area. So we encourage you, if saving money is important, as it is for most people, that take as many of those at the community colleges. And then if you have 1 or 2 left, then that would be a good option for the Summer Academy.
And once you're admitted, we offer you admission. So once you're admitted into the program, if you're missing the prereqs, then we offer you registration into the Summer Academy. So those 2 things kind of go hand in hand. Once you're admitted, then we'll provide more information on the Summer Academy. And as Dr. Rod Smith said, you can take 1 or all, depending on which prerequisites you need and which you're able to pick up at a different community college.
Thank you for answering it. Do you guys have a scholarship?
There are scholarships that are part of the master's program for students that have already started the master's program. I should note that the Summer Academy, students aren't able to apply for financial aid for the Summer Academy.
Yeah, but there are scholarships for active MSA program people, and they're usually on a competitive basis.
Other questions?
Roughly, what's the class size you will be accepting students for fall 2019?
We currently have about 37 students that are in class right now, so we don't necessarily have a limit on class size. The last couple of years we've been between 35 and 40.
Any other questions that you might have before we wrap things up regarding the application process or some of the statistics that Dr. Smith talked about at the beginning of the presentation?
I will say that you can always email us, rod.smith@csulb.edu or msa@csulb.edu. We'll be happy to answer your questions.
Absolutely. And I should also mention that I will be emailing everybody a copy of the PowerPoint from the presentation, as well as the recording of the presentation. So you will be able to see everything that we talked about that way. So with that being said, if there aren't any more questions and you know that you'll be receiving the PowerPoint with our contact information, then we can go ahead and close off here.
Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you all.
Bye. Have a good